Welcome back my fellow surfers to the Triple S Variety channel. I'm your host Triple S, and in this video I'll be breaking down and reviewing the 6th episode of the first season of the Fallout TV show titled The Trap. Obviously there will be spoilers for episode 6, but there might also be spoilers for future episodes as well. Now let's begin. Point number 1, this phone number on screen is an actual phone number you can call and text. If you call it, it sounds like you're connected directly to someone suffering in the fires of hell. However, if you text, you get an actual message reading, "Thank you for texting Vault-Tec. The next available appointment is 33 weeks from now. Please stand by." 33 weeks from when Season 1 dropped will be November 2024, and there's a lot of speculation around the significance of this date. Could it be perhaps when the next Fallout game will be revealed? Point number 2, Cooper drops the third mention of Alaska after the news report in episode 1 and Lucy in episode 5, and the second mention of the battles that took place there, again after Lucy in episode 5, revealing as well that he actually fought in them whilst wearing the T-45 series of power armor. And while I know it's probably not an intentional reference, Bud and Cooper mentioning the design flaws of the armor, but it still looks great and was released anyway, makes me think of games in the Fallout series that were buggy and flawed, but still looked great and were released anyway. I'm especially looking at you, Fallout 76. Point number 3, on the newspaper Cooper looks at here, you can see another article title which reads, "Nuka-Cola walks back new Nuka," which is a reference when Coca-Cola changed the recipe of their famous drink in 1985. It received the unofficial name of New Coke and ended up being a failure, with many people preferring the old flavour, which was re-released as Coca-Cola Classic only 79 days after the release of New Coke, which in 1990 was officially named Coke 2 and then discontinued entirely in 2002. There is also a conspiracy theory regarding New Coke, where it is believed it was all a ploy since the re-release of the previous formula as Coca-Cola Classic resulted in massive sales for the company, though Coca-Cola deny this theory has any truth to it. I wonder if a similar theory surrounds New Nuka in the Fallout world, and based on the series' satirization of capitalism and consumerism, I'm willing to bet it was an intentional ploy by Nuka-Cola to boost sales, if indeed they did receive a boost in sales just like Coca-Cola did IRL. Point number 4, I wonder if the movie poster for A Man and His Dog is meant to be a reference to the post-nuclear apocalypse novella A Boy and His Dog by Harlan Ellison, since the movie adaptation influenced the creation of Fallout, according to designer Jesse Heinig. In A Boy and His Dog, you've got mutants that could be feral ghouls and a glowing one, the Down Under, which is a large underground nuclear vault that a society of people live in, just like a Fallout vault, and Dogmeat even gets its name from a nickname the protagonist Vic calls his telepathic dog Blood in the movie adaptation.
Fine, Dogmeat.
Point number 5, I knew Matt Berry voiced the Mr. Handy robots in this show, but I wasn't also expecting to get an origin story as to why Codsworth the Fallout 4 is called Codsworth and where his voice comes from, with Matt Berry's character Sebastian Leslie having played an in-universe butler character called Bartholomew Codsworth, and then selling off his vocal rights to be used for the Mr. Handy robots. Point number 6, so it turns out a bunch of the people in Vault 4 are survivors from Shady Sands exploding, and my question is, why is it then that they have chosen to settle in Vault 4? On the billboard Lucy and Maximus looked at in the previous episode, we see that it says that Shady Sands was the first capital of the new California Republic, which implies that it no longer was the capital when the billboard was posted, and another place is the capital of the NCR. So why didn't these Shady Sands survivors, these new California refugees, travel to the NCR capital? Is it too far away maybe? And later on in the episode, we find out that they worship Moldava as the Flame Mother for some reason. So why don't they live with her and the other new California remnants at Griffith Observatory? Do they not know she's there even though everyone knows who Moldava is?
Everyone knows who Moldava is.
And they send people to the surface to forage who might have overheard people talking about her? Point number 7, so glad that Maximus has regained the ability to smell after his nose has taken so much punishment since we first met him back in episode 1. Maybe that's why he says he thinks Lucy smells good. He wasn't trying to flirt, he was just stating a fact, since he's able to smell again. Maybe though he is trying to flirt. I mean, Lucy seems to take it that way, and pretty bluntly asks if he wants to make the beast with two backs. This isn't out of the ordinary for her, with how we've seen her act in the past, like when she spoke to Chet before she got married, and then to her new husband. In fact, Everyone in Vault 33 acts very blunt and to the point. A point against Maximus trying to flirt with Lucy, though, is how he describes a man arriving. It sounds like he and maybe the other aspirants have been taught abstinence through fear and horror stories. This would make sense as it plays into the religious aspects of the Brotherhood of Steel. I will admit though, I and seemingly many other people thought at first this conversation between Maximus and Lucy was kinda cringe and awkward, and after the test subject sign was revealed over their door, I thought they'd secretly be given chems or something, and that's why they were acting so weird. But in actuality, I think it just comes down to Lucy's bluntness and openness and Maximus's lack of sexual education. Point number 8, also tying the past to the present, room 604 that Maximus and Lucy are in is the same room Cooper stood outside of when talking about Vault 4's 3-foot thick lead casing in the pre-war advertisements. Point number 9, I think as well that Maximus's continued odd behaviour whilst in the vault just comes down to how different it is to his life with the Brotherhood. People in Vault 4 are nice and friendly with each other, which contrasts significantly with how brutal and aggressive everyone acts towards each other in the Brotherhood, besides Dane and Maximus towards each other obviously. That's why Maximus is initially very mistrustful and believes the residents are trying to trap them in the vault, but mellows out and starts acting like he's taking ecstasy when he finds the gift basket, the shower, and the robe and slippers. It is kinda weird though that he doesn't seem as freaked out about the mutated people as Lucy is. Point number 10, I love the character of Overseer Ben for how he parodies the hypocritical prejudice of IRL people in power, what with how he views the New California refugees as having smelly food and needing to be tolerated and having their traditions respected, but then also how he's portrayed as a goofball that shouldn't be taken seriously. Point number 11, okay, here we go. Alright, let's get into the fall of Shady Sands, the date 2277, and the nuke going off, shall we? Just like how Shady Sands being moved from where it was shown to be located in the games and then it being destroyed, these blackboard drawings also caused mayhem within the Fallout community. The main cause of this chaos being the date under the fall of Shady Sands, 2277. Now why is this a problem? Well, 2277 is 4 years before Fallout New Vegas takes place, and because people equated 2277 as being the year Shady Sands fell, it led them to believe Fallout New Vegas was being retconned into non-existence. The argument being, if Shady Sands had gone bye-bye in 2277, then someone in 2281 would have mentioned it at least once to the courier character during Fallout New Vegas. Plus, how could the NCR be able to wage its campaign in the Mojave without the support of Shady Sands? Ignoring the possibility that Shady Sands at that point might no longer have been the capital of the NCR anymore, so support could have been coming from this other location rather than from Shady Sands, since it's been confirmed that Fallout New Vegas hasn't been retconned, that means Shady Sands actually hadn't been destroyed by the time of the game. While this sounds like a contradiction, like if Shady Sands fell in 2277, how is it still around in 2281? You should think of the fall of Shady Sands as being like the fall of Rome. Rome didn't fall overnight, it declined over hundreds of years, so the fall of Shady Sands just started in 2277. In fact, this fall of Shady Sands happening between 2277 and when it turned into a crater could have been what led to a different location becoming the new capital of the NCR, and Shady Sands reverted back to its original name of Shady Sands after having been renamed New California Republic back in 2186. People also confuse Shady Sands being nuked as being the reason why it fell, which is just not true. It's been revealed by none other than Todd Howard himself that Shady Sands exploded not long after New Vegas, so not that long after 2281. This means the fall and the mushroom cloud are disconnected events, as shown on the blackboard, by being separated by an arrow. So you can all rest easy knowing that Fallout New Vegas is still canon and the timeline of events still makes sense. You can, however, keep ripping your hair out over the fact that Shady Sands in the show isn't where it's goddamn supposed to be. Point number 12. Hearing the Fallout theme play as Lucy lifts up the NCR flag gave me chills, even if it does sound more like the Fallout 4 version rather than the one from New Vegas. Point number 13, President of the Government, Sorrel Booker here, shares a very similar name to actor Sorrel Buck, who is best known for playing the character of Commissioner Boss Hogg in the Dukes of Hazzard TV show. I don't think Boss Hogg was fond of eating irradiated meat and spitting out the cysts in the Dukes of Hazzard though, but then again I've only ever seen the 2005 movie adaptation, so who knows. Point number 14, I wonder why Cooper says he's guilty as charged for having gutted the Super Duper Mat when it wasn't him that did it. I mean, he caused it to happen by taking Lucy there, but he didn't personally damage Snip Snip and have the ghouls and ferogals released, thus getting the two stoners killed. Point number 15, is it just me or does the person in this wanted poster on the left look kind of like a Fallout 4 style super mutant? Point number 16, I like how in the shrine there appears to be just a straight up screenshot of President Kimball from Fallout New Vegas. I wonder who the mutant looking person in the other picture frame is though. Maybe it was whoever was overseer when the new California refugees showed up at Vault 4 and allowed them in. Point number 17, oh yeah, big shock that Moldava was alive before the Great War, but I think I'll hold off on getting into that until we learn more about her in the last 2 episodes. I will say for now though that it's funny how pre-Great War she held her meetings at Hollywood Forever, which was a funeral home, cemetery, and did cremations, and is then known post-Great War as the Flame Mother after Shady Sands has been turned to ash, which the Shady Sands survivors in Vault 4 rub onto themselves whilst attending a prayer meeting. To round all this off, my most disliked part of the episode goes to how dumb President Booker was in cutting Cooper's restraints, allowing him to sew back on a trigger finger, and then ordering Sheriff Rex to take Sheriff Troy's guns away, just making it as easy as possible for Cooper to gain the upper hand. And my most liked part of the episode goes to the Fallout theme playing when Lucy lifts up the NCR flag. I know it's fan service, and a very small piece of fan service at that, but I still thought it was great, a very nice touch. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Triple S Variety channel. Why not leave a comment below pointing out anything I missed but you noticed? I would love to hear from you all. I've been Triple S, you've all been amazing, and I shall see you all in the next video.